So today's image kind of sucks because in my head I can see it so clearly of what I'm going to make and how I'm going to do it. I just don't know how to describe it in a way that kind of does justice to the idea. But this idea started around, I think, bonfire night, because I was thinking of an image, not of Guy Fawkes, it would be a self-portrait, it would be me on some kind of bonfire. But I thought, how do I do a bonfire without showing an image where I'm setting fire to myself? And then it turned into like a kind of Jesus on the cross visual, which I don't want to lean into too much because I don't feel like I have the right to play around with religious imagery. As someone who is not religious and has had some anti-religious tendencies in the past. And then I thought of my personal Lord and Saviour, Taylor Swift. Specifically from this album. In the Look What You Made Me Do video, she stands on a mountain of her past selves. And I think that is a good reference point, as it is kind of the imagery of someone who, she has her arms out, so it's kind of like a cross, and it has like the bonfire mountain pile. So that is a very bad explanation of what I want to do, but that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to shoot this against my backdrop. I'm going to edit it to be an outdoor setting, so this pile of people, it makes more sense to be like a bonfire. Those I think are going to be dressed maybe in like a black bra and shorts, because I want it to be form-fitting and like stick-like. Not usually when I do portraits I have like a flowy dress thing on. I want it to be figure form-fitting. And for the one at the top, I guess kind of like a nude illusion. I do not want to shoot nudes, as I'm not a child, but I am a child. But it will be nude coloured clothing, so there's still clothing there, but it doesn't distract away from the image. And probably some kind of crown, because again I would try to stray away from religious imagery, but Jesus and the crown of thorns is something I want to kind of allude to. So yeah, I'm gonna go try shoot this, and the editing process has just dawned on me. It's gonna be a while. It's gonna take some time. So we're just gonna talk through the edit. But first I will say that normally I would time lapse the shoot, but for this one I actually filmed it in real time because I wanted to see how long it would take to take so many photos of my body, and it took 9 minutes. It took 9 minutes to take, I think, 8 or 9 different like poses, but with multiple shots for each, which is a lot faster than I thought, but also I think that's the same amount of time I would spend shooting any image. Like, yeah, all my shoots take 10 minutes apparently, and then many hours of editing. And also for the time lapse, I only filmed the first part of the shoot. I didn't film the part of me just like in nude underwear, because I think that was probably crossing a line of what I was comfortable with showing on my body. Like, yes, you can have a single image, but a video from all angles, no. So, this edit. First step, which will be the first step in all my images, is to put the composite together. So putting together, I mean, there's a couple steps to this shoot which are just putting the base images together. But for the first one, for the figure of me on top of this bonfire, it's made out of 3 shots for some reason. It's made up of a hair flip one, the one of me just standing there with my arms down straight, and then one for the rest of the actual body. Because when I was originally putting this together, I didn't think I'd need legs, but then I did need legs. And another insight on my editing process, I spend probably 50% of my editing time just putting the composite together. So just literally smashing base images together and cutting them out and putting like the actual subject in. And I spend the other 50% pretty much editing colours, curve layers, backgrounds, all that stuff. So yeah, the first step of this one was putting me, the base me, together. And I finally learned how to use the background eraser tool properly so I could cut out my hair nicely. Next step is start putting more of these people in. And this took forever. The next step is also me putting more people in. And so as the next step is putting all these people in. I originally cut them out roughly, then I went back and I went around and tried to do it a lot neater. Just so it looked good. But I realised that for the project I'm doing right now for uni, I think I'm actually aiming for quantity of work over quality. So I didn't go through and like cut around all these like little tiny finger bits that are down here. Because like from a distance you can't notice them. From my Instagram account you can't notice them, but unless you zoom in, that's when you can see it. So I thought, yeah, no one's going to zoom in, so it's fine. This is a series of work where I'm trying to... It's more experimentation with subject matter and my technical skills. So I'm just trying to do a rough job, not a fully detailed job. But if I came back to this concept in the future and reshot it differently, because I think I want to reshoot it because I don't like how these are like all black outfits look, then I would do it better. The next stage, I kind of zoom in close. I'd select with the little eyedropper tool a colour already existing from the image, usually from the background. So this dark grey off, it's not, I was going to say it's a light black because the backdrop's meant to be black, but it photographs as a dark grey. So I take that, I fill in the background with that. Then I take this little stock image of a field that I use as the grass in pretty much any image of mine that has grass in. And I put that in, you get like a big, very low hardness, like a big fluffy brush. And just layer mask out the like horizon line so it blends into the background and it has like a little like almost misty effect. And this is also something I would do in pretty much all my images, especially the ones I did for my last project where the background was a solid colour and it didn't become detailed like this one does. I added in one of my own sunset photos because I have an entire photo of folders on my laptop of just sunsets and clouds. It's called Cloud Appreciation, but it's just nice sunsets. So yeah, this came out of that. I think that's all this step is, it's just putting that background in. It originally had a different background which was a lot more vibrant and red. That went more like a hellfire feel, and I don't think that was what I was going for. I tried to steer this back in the direction of being inspired by Renaissance art with the colours and lighting in that. It's still a bit too dark, a bit too orange, like very saturated, but it's better than the red hellfire that I originally had. Next step is where, like when I write to my editing process in my workbook for uni, it's just a lot of curve layers. There's one selected to brighten the like pyramid of people. There's one to darken the background, excuse me. And there's one to add like a vignette around the edge. And then there's just lots of tiny ones, like ones to add shadows around the feet on the grass for that little realism. And then if I was doing this in a lot more detail, I would go around and add shadows beneath all of the hands that are touching another person to add a little more depth there. And yeah, there's a lot of hands there. So I would go back and add shadows under all these hands. Next step is where I add this oil paint texture. I think I use the multiply, I think it's the multiply layer mode, blending mode, layer mode, I don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I use multiply. This is the same one I use in all my images as well for consistency. And it does brighten up the image a lot. So I would normally go back and add another curved layer beneath this just to darken it again so the highlights aren't just fully blown out. And then for the final step as well, this is, yeah, as well as I do in all my images, I would open this into the Photoshop app on my iPad or my phone so it's a more colour calibrated monitor because my laptop very much isn't. And seeing it from my laptop onto a phone screen are completely different colour experiences. So I would open this on a device, and also the Photoshop app, I think it's the Photoshop Express app, I really do love for colour editing, so it's got so many features and details for it. So I'd open that up and have a look, yeah. Now I'll do my final colour adjustments in there. I'd add another vignette again because when I open it in my phone it disappears. I'll desaturate the orange tones in the subject because my skin will be a little orange. So I'll desaturate that, so there's still a little colour there, but I'm pasty white as I should be. And I'll probably turn down the highlights and the whites down to 50. And yeah. I'm pretty sure for this image it was just adding vignettes, desaturating oranges, and turning down whites and highlights. And I think that's all that is for this editing process. So thank you for watching this video. If you've watched it all the way through, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that I'm going to be able to make more of these videos for like upcoming photos in this project. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.